Elizabeth came, it not only lightened my wife and my lives, but also Randall's, especially because he got a new playmate, a friend for life, which was Elizabeth.
I was 5 years, almost 6, when she was born.
When she was born, he was 6 years old, so he had a lot to teach her, and she absorbed it like a sponge.
She was really amazing from the beginning. I think she was about like 3 months old. She hardly ever gave me trouble middle of the night. She would just sleep through the night for the most part. So in the morning I wake up and her diaper is dry. So then I bring her to the toilet and I hold her over the toilet and she goes. And pretty much rest of her life, you know, she hardly ever went in her diaper.
Elizabeth was involved in all kinds of things, violin and theater. And
she wanted to do a lot of the things that I did, so she ended up doing music. I think I was about 10 when I started playing the violin. I went to the violin shop in downtown Santa Rosa to pick out a violin for myself, and Elizabeth came along, and the person who works there was so captured with Elizabeth. She gave her a teeny tiny little violin just to mess around on. Even though she didn't know how to play, she would just kind of, you know, copy what her older brother was doing on the violin and would just, you know, scratch away on the strings.
It's always tough in the beginning when you hear the screeching sound of the violin, but she stuck with it and she became a very accomplished violin player. She was working so hard to be entered into the San Francisco Youth Symphony. Her violin teacher, who also actually plays with the San Francisco Symphony, he texted her that she was accepted into the Youth Symphony. I can't remember a time she was happier. And then she continued playing the violin thereafter, even when she went off to college.
As soon as she could walk and hold things, she gravitated toward the paper and pencils and crayons and things like that. In old days, we had this computer paper, you know, had the holes on the side. She would go through it and drawing. And the drawings that she produced is very, very full of stories. I mean, you look at the drawing, you will know the story. There's a lot of story in the drawing. Whoever came to visit, she would draw this and give it to them. She drew it, and then they took them and they kept them because it was amazing drawings. And one day this woman came, said, "Hi, are you Elizabeth's mother?" And she told me some amazing stories about your 9 daughters. And Elizabeth was like 3.5 years old, looking at her, looking at me, and then she says, "But they all got dead."
She imagined herself in various roles and various ways of being from very, very early on. And she continued that as she got older.
She was so bright. By the end of kindergarten year, she was reading chapter books, and most kids, they're barely learning alphabets. She loved to tell stories, and that developed her into being an incredible writer.
Don't see, just a girl caught up in dreams and fantasies.
She really embraced her Korean side of things. She learned how to read and speak Korean, not fluently by any means, but she did learn it on her own. She just wanted to learn it, and she was very interested in the Korean culture. She went with her mother there once, and then we went there as a family, and she had some close friends from college that she had met that were from, so when we went there she got to visit them as well, and they showed her around. Yeah, Elizabeth was really interested in Korean music, K-pop, and moved to Korea and be a K-pop singer, and because she is so talented at many things, when she puts her mind to it, she probably could have been a K-pop star, but I'm glad that she didn't, because I wouldn't have wanted her to be away from home. She was able to obtain her black belt, was another great achievement, and then she taught karate to young children who had parents that were incarcerated, and so they were kind of broken families, and they went to a special school, and she helped these young girls learn karate. And she also taught violin to some younger children. She had an innate sense of other people's pain and sorrow. She certainly felt very empathetic to the people in the orphanages that she went to in Haiti and Uganda.
She was only 14 and 15, and she was a little girl, you know. Her body wasn't big, but she was there just doing all the things that all these other people were doing.
She went with some other ladies to this building that was housing elderly people with dementia. The stench of urine and feces in the building was just overwhelming, and the ladies that went with her were just kind of stood there while Elizabeth went on like a beeline straight to this one elderly woman and led her to the shower to clean her up. These other ladies like, wow, this girl can do this. We got to get to it. So they kind of got inspired by her and told the story later on about how Elizabeth just took charge.
She got up at 4:30 in the morning, went to mass, and then came back and ate very meager meal. She never said a peep about it. She went off to work, taking care of these children or elderly people with the dementia. I mean, she was very happy being there. She was enjoying the moment of just being. And I think that inspired a lot of other people. Everywhere she went, she touched people's heart.